Hello and welcome. You're watching NDTV 24/7. I'm Osama Shab. The big story that we are tracking at the top of this hour is a train collision that has taken place in Tamil Nadu. The Bagmati Express, it collided with a goods train. A dozen coaches have been derailed. There has been fire that has been reported in two of the coaches, although there has been no loss of life that has been reported so far. This accident took place at Kavaraipettai in Tamil Nadu. The train was going from Mysore to Darbhanga. The express train, it collided with a goods train. The railways, in the meanwhile, has said that the express train got the green signal and that the train experienced a jerk while entering the station. The railways also says that the train entered the loop line and not the main line, and that the express train hit a standing goods train. Most of the passengers, they have been evacuated. The injured, they have been rushed to the nearby hospitals.
दक्षिण रेलवे के चेन्नई मंडल के कोवरपेटई स्टेशन पर 12578 बागमती एक्सप्रेस के दुर्घटनाग्रस्त होने की सूचना प्राप्त हुई है। अभी तक जो रेलवे की ओर से राहत और बचाव की टीम घटनास्थल पर पहुंच गई है और सारे कोचों से यात्रियों को निकालने का काम जारी किया जा रहा है। 95% से ज़्यादा यात्रियों को निकाल लिया गया है। अभी तक किसी भी कैजुअलिटी या ग्रीवियस इंजरी की सूचना हमें प्राप्त नहीं हुई है। राहत दल और मेडिकल टीम दोनों घटनास्थल पर मौजूद है और यदि किसी को किसी प्रकार की परेशानी है तो उसकी मदद के लिए रेलवे की टीम वहां पर है। घटनास्थल पर जाने के लिए जीएम सदर्न रेलवे और डीआरएम सदर्न चेन्नई मंडल दोनों रवाना हो चुके हैं। बाकी जो यात्री हैं उनको उनके गंतव्य स्थल पर ले जाने के लिए चेन्नई स्टेशन से आवश्यक व्यवस्था रेलवे द्वारा की जा रही है। इस दुर्घटना में जो ट्रेन इन्वॉल्व है उसके चालक दल के सदस्य यानी कि क्रू और गार्ड दोनों अभी सुरक्षित हैं।
All right. In the meanwhile, due to this particular accident, a couple of trains, they have been stranded in the Chennai Guddur area, which are planned to be run via diverted routes. It's what we are understanding at the moment. The Chennai division, it has issued an update saying that they are moving all passengers by EMU to Chennai Central, and a fresh train will be readied at Chennai to take them further to their destinations. In fact, my colleague Sam Daniel joins us to get us more on this. Sam, what is the latest that you can tell us about this particular incident?
Well, Osama, there's no loss of life in this train accident. 4 people have suffered injuries. As we speak now, the rescue work is underway and the train services both up and down have been suspended. To begin with, at least 3 trains remain stranded: the Trichy-Howrah Express, the Ernakulam-Startanagar Express, Kakinada-Dhanbad Express. The other impact will be notified by the railway shortly. In terms of what happened, now authorities say the train, the Derail Express, was allowed to go into the main line of this particular station, Kavaraipettai. But for some reason, the train crew suffered a kind of a jolt, and the train, instead of going into the main line, went into the loop line where this particular goods train was stationary. So the train hit the stationary goods train, and the parcel coach of the train went up in flames, and at least 12 coaches of the passenger express train derailed. And as we speak now, all people have been rescued, either released or are being taken to hospital, the 4 people. And they are arranging the local EMU train service to bring them to Chennai, from where they will be sent by another train. The cause of the particular accident is being investigated. Nobody has, no loss of life, including the train crew. And initially, the local people came to help them, and they were put up in nearby halls. And as we speak now, the railway authorities, fire services, and also local district police station, they all have reached and they're working out modalities to bring the stranded passengers first to Chennai and then to put them on different trains to their destination. Certainly, while the cause of this accident is yet to be ascertained, it raises several questions in terms of rail safety after a series of accidents in the past. Fortunately, this time there's no loss of life. Osama.
All right, Sam Daniel, thank you very much for getting us all the latest. In fact, the Railway Minister, Ashwini Vaishnav, he is said to be present in the rail ward room in the Rail Bhavan. In the meanwhile, these are the helpline numbers that you can see on your screens in case you want to get in touch with the authorities there. Meanwhile, an Air India Express flight going from Tiruchirappalli to Sharjah, it landed safely at the Trichy airport after facing a hydraulic failure. The flight, which was scheduled to go to Sharjah, had 144 passengers aboard. Several ambulances and rescue services were rushed to the airport to prepare for any emergency. The flight was in air for over 2 hours and landed safely at around 8:14 p.m. At Trichy Airport. All passengers aboard, they are safe. The flight, it took off around 5:40 p.m. as per schedule, but suffered mid-air hydraulic failure and the landing gear faced issues during retraction after takeoff. The flight hovered south of Trichy for over 2 hours, burning fuel to prepare for a precautionary landing, a procedure which is followed by pilots in such scenarios. All right, my colleague Vishnu Shom joins us to get us more on this. Vishnu, what is the latest that you can tell us about this incident?
Well, these are exclusive details which we are breaking on NDTV 24/7 on the circumstances on board that Air India Express flight, which was forced to return to Trichy Airport after it took off, and it encountered what we are now told was a hydraulic problem. So let me now share a few details of what happened. The aircraft, which is the Boeing 737-800 aircraft, took off from Trichy Airport. It had more than 140 passengers on board, plus crew. Shortly after taking off, the undercarriage of the aircraft, in other words, the wheels of the aircraft, retracted normally. It was shortly after the wheels retracted normally that a master caution light appeared in the cockpit of the aircraft, indicating that there was a malfunction or a problem with the hydraulic system which governs the undercarriage itself. So while the hydraulic system was successful in retracting the undercarriage, it was shortly after the undercarriage was retracted, in other words, in the stowage area of the aircraft, that this master caution sounded. In a situation like this, the pilots decided that it would be best to return to Trichy Airport, which is why they circled the airport for several hours to burn off fuel to reduce the weight of the aircraft. They then manually retracted or they manually lowered the undercarriage because there was a problem, as I mentioned, with the hydraulic system which governs it. So they manually lowered the undercarriage. In the first attempt itself, the undercarriage locked into position and the aircraft was able to make a safe landing. So it is these are the latest details. I should also mention that this was a hydraulic system concern affecting the undercarriage. There are multiple hydraulic systems on board the Boeing 737-800 aircraft. The aircraft was fully flyable at all stages. It was just a question of ensuring that the undercarriage went down, which it went down by using a backup mechanism called a manual drop, and it made a very safe landing. This is what Air India Express sources at the very highest levels have briefed NDTV on.
All right, Vishnu Shom, thank you very much for getting us all those exclusive details on NDTV. Meanwhile, Omar Abdullah, he met the Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha to discuss the formation of a new government in Jammu and Kashmir. Remember, National Conference, it is supported by various political parties, including the Congress as well as the Aam Aadmi Party. Mr. Abdullah, he submitted letters of support aiming for a swearing-in ceremony as soon as possible.
मैं अभी राजभवन से वापस आया हूं। माननीय लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब से मेरी मुलाकात हुई। मुलाकात के दौरान मैंने उन्हें नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस, कांग्रेस, सीपीएम, आम आदमी पार्टी और जिन इंडिपेंडेंट्स के तरफ से नेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस को समर्थन की चिट्ठी मिली है, उन्हें उन चिट्ठियों को मैंने लेफ्टिनेंट गवर्नर साहब के हवाले किए और उनसे गुजारिश की कि जल्द से जल्द वो तारीख मुकर्रर करें ताकि यहाँ ओथ लिया जाए और लोगों की चुनी हुई हुकूमत जो है अपना काम संभाले।
Well, it may take few days because number one, the Lieutenant Governor has to send these letters of support, which Omar Abdullah has submitted today, which are 55 MLAs, to the President of India. Then it has to go to the Home Ministry because number one, they have to revoke the central rule, the President's rule in Jammu and Kashmir, which is invoked for last more than 6 years in Jammu and Kashmir. So President rule has to be lifted. Then the process of the formation of new government will start. And then maybe it may be Tuesday, the Wednesday. Not before that, it may take few days before we can see the new government taking oath, and Omar Abdullah will be the Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir. For now, we saw among the 55, if you see these support letters of support, or the MLAs who are supporting, National Conference on its own has 48 members now. Because now they have 5, 6, these independent, there's Aam Aadmi Party support, there's the CPIM MLA, he's supporting them, and besides 6 members of the Congress. So clearly Congress is essentially now a fringe player. It's not a main player in the government.
Meanwhile, latest from Kolkata now, a case has been registered over threat to pandals there. A mob threatened to damage the pandals and a case has been filed against unidentified accused. The Kolkata club, it has filed a complaint saying that a mob threatened to destroy the puja pandal, and the mob threatened in fact to break the Durga idol as well. The cops in the meanwhile, they have said that a probe is on to identify who these miscreants are. So the Kolkata club has now filed a complaint saying that a mob threatened to destroy puja pandal. Time now for a very short break. More news and updates on the other side. Welcome back. A case has been registered over threats to the pandals in Kolkata. A mob, in fact, threatened to damage the pandal. A case has been registered against unidentified accused there. The Kolkata club, it has filed a complaint saying that the mob threatened to destroy puja pandal as well as threatened to break the Durga idol. The police, in the meanwhile, it says that a probe is on to identify who these miscreants are. And my colleague Saurabh Gupta joins us to get us more on this. Saurabh, what do we know about this case as of now?
Well, the leader of opposition, Shubhendu Adhikari, has tweeted on this incident, and of course, he's asked for exemplary punishment to prevent the reoccurrence of such events. Now, he's also tweeted a video with that where a group of men is shown, and presumably they seem to be threatening someone. There is a complaint that's been lodged by a club that says that a group of men objected, to certain Durga Puja, rituals and or celebrations, I beg your pardon, and they've lodged a complaint with the police. The police have registered an FIR against unknown persons, like you said, and the probe is on to identify the miscreants who threatened the mob. And this is, of course, something that the leader of opposition in the West Bengal Assembly, Shubhendu Adhikari, has also taken up and tweeted about. And he says, of course, puja, rituals, puja and celebrations are, going on normally. But this one incident, of course, is something that the police have taken serious note of and registered an FIR as well. In the Garden Reach police station, this incident has been reported from the Garden Reach area, and the Garden Reach police station has registered an FIR after a complaint from the club that organizes the Durga Puja in that area.
All right, Saurabh Gupta, thank you very much for getting us all the details in that story. And Israel has launched fresh attacks on Lebanon, including strikes in central Beirut and against Hezbollah targets. An Israeli attack in central Beirut reportedly resulted in 22 deaths and 117 injuries. The situation has impacted UN operations as well, with peacekeepers being caught in this conflict, leading to strong international reactions, including from India. Remember, there are more than 900 Indian peacekeepers in southern Lebanon, though most of them, they were not in the headquarters of the UN peace mission when it was struck.
After 2 days of calm, the people of Beirut once again found themselves under siege. Israeli airstrikes in central Beirut killed 22 and injured 117, with this attack being the deadliest on the city centre in recent days.
نحن جنوب جينا عند خيل هربنا يعني منكسر جينا عند خيل بس كنا قاعدين على البرندة الاولاد نحن قاعدين بالصالون فجأة ما شفنا الا شيء دفشنا لجوا قعدنا لو ظهرنا لبرا نحن اخواتي صرنا نمر على الاولاد هذا الخي هون يعني لحد ما خيل رجعوا وهم يروح الواحد تلك اسرائيل انه حزب الله مخبي صواريخ بين العالم خلي امريكا وكل العالم تعرف اسرائيل حزب الله ما بيخبي صواريخ بين العالم ولا بيساعد يخبي صواريخ بين العالم.
The strike in central Beirut came after an attack in South Lebanon, which injured 2 UN peacekeepers, drawing widespread condemnation from countries such as Italy, France, and China. Meanwhile, the UN called the strike a grave violation of international law.
The soldiers that were wounded were Indonesian. They belong to ASEAN. And obviously, I condemn the fact that there was shooting against the UN premise, wounding 2 peacekeepers, which is a violation of international humanitarian law. Peacekeepers must be protected by all parties of the conflict.
The Indian government expressed concern about a deteriorating situation along the Blue Line, stressing that the inviolability of UN premises must be respected by all. The impact of the continuing conflict in West Asia has not been limited to Lebanon. Yesterday, an Israeli strike hit a school shelter in Deir al-Balah, killing at least 27, including 2 children. Israel has repeatedly struck many such shelters, claiming that they are militant hideouts. However, displaced people are bearing the brunt of this sustained campaign.
هذه إدارة مدرسة، إدارة للكابونات، للحوامل، لتوزيع المية، كل إدارة ما فيش فيها مسلحين، فيش فيها حماس، إحنا مدنيين هان، نسوان، أغلب المدرسة هذه نسوان.
The conflict seems to show no signs of letting up, with Israel stating that Hezbollah was stockpiling weapons in a home in southern Lebanon, stating that their forces would dismantle Hezbollah, terrorist by terrorist, weapon by weapon. Kartikeya Bhattacharya, NDTV.
And government sources say there was a brief meeting between Prime Minister Modi and Prime Minister Trudeau in the capital of Laos on the sidelines of the ASEAN summit. My colleague Kadamini Sharma has more details.
Well, what we are learning is that Justin Trudeau had spoken at a press conference in Laos PDR while he was there for ASEAN and East Asia Summit, and he told the reporters there that he came face to face with PM Modi, and he had told PM Modi, he emphasized in front of him that there are real issues to be solved. Now, India has had a very cold relation with Canada since September 2023 when the PM of Canada stood in their parliament and accused India of having a hand in the killing of Khalistani Hardeep Nijjar. Now, after this claim of Canadian PM that he had a conversation with the PM Modi, our sources are telling us that there was no substantial discussion or conversation between PM Modi and the Canadian PM in Laos, and India is still expecting that there would be firm action against anti-India forces there, be it Khalistanis or those dealing with drugs and violence and extremism, and the growing nexus of such forces with organized crime and drug syndicates and human trafficking, etc. are still going on in Canada and a concern for India. India values relations with Canada but expects a verifiable action which can be seen so that the relations can move forward. So now this is what our sources are telling us, that there was no substantive discussion at all between the Canadian PM and PM Modi when they came face to face in Laos PDR.
That's all we have for you. Keep watching NDTV.